I don't know.
You got nothing! Oh my God, look at Jericho!
I just forgot to tell you that on this show you can't say, I don't know.
You got nothing! Oh my God, look at Jericho!
It's Fight for the Fallen time. Let's talk about this week's episode of AEW Dynamite. We kicked things off with the TNT Championship match between Sonny Kiss and Cody Rhodes. And, you know, we talked on the show before about how this open challenge basically translates to, like, Cody's going to win this match, but he's going to put on a good, hard-fought battle against whomever his opponent is, making, in turn, his opponents look good in defeat. I don't think when these challenges are announced in advance that you would expect Cody to drop the championship, especially if, you know, it's not a pay-per-view, but a normal episode of AEW Dynamite. But you also expect that the quality of the match is going to be so good that the talent that loses the match gets highlighted and spotlighted because of the match. Sonny Kiss got put in this position this week, and boy am I glad they did it. You know, because Sonny has been on the payroll for a while now, but he hasn't had the opportunity to be put in spotlight in singles competition like he did this week. And here's a little known fact. Sonny Kiss is a good talent. Sonny Kiss is an incredible talent who needed this opportunity and needed this exposure. Was he gonna win the match? It was less than likely. But it is fun and exciting and amazing to have a person like Sonny Kiss in the position where he was tonight. Let's take a look at wrestling as a whole tonight, as I'm recording this 10 minutes shy of midnight on Wednesday. Let's take a look at what wrestling was this week, because Sonny Kiss challenged for the TNT Championship, and over on the other network, Tegan Nox challenged for the NXT Women's Championship. And let me make a little parenthesis here so you can understand where we come from here on the wrestling space and where we're going. As a member of the LGBTQ community myself, it is exciting, it is incredible, and it is borderline emotional that we get to see LGBTQ talents represented and in the positions where they were put in this week. In big money championship matches where they can show that they have what it takes to take the ball and run with it if given the opportunity. And if you do not like that your company, that the company that you're watching or the show that you're watching features LGBTQ characters, then wrestling is not for you, because wrestling is supposed to be an open space for everyone, accepting of everyone. And that's what we saw. That's what we get behind someone like Sonny Kiss. That's why we wanted him to win the championship. That's why you buy it on the near falls. This was the match that Sonny Kiss needed, and maybe, just maybe, here's hoping that AEW continues to feature him on the show the way they have the past couple of weeks. The match itself was fantastic. I think it was an excellent opening match that told a great story on the side of Cody. And it's that Cody, as a hero, put himself in this position where he said, oh, I'm gonna be the hardest working champion in pro wrestling, and I am gonna defend my championship every single week. And now he realizes that that may have been a mistake, because the championship defenses are getting stronger and harder each and every week. This week, Sonny Kiss sent Cody to the limit, to the point where we're seeing Cody actually try to cheat to retain the championship in the match. And what AEW is doing, they're slow burning at it, but they're gonna turn Cody heel. It's gonna happen. And the way that it's gonna happen is that these championship defenses are gonna run him down. We are seeing it where, like, 4 or 5 weeks in of him defending the championship every single week, and now you're seeing him, like, literally ripping the turnbuckle off and trying to cheat off of hitting his opponent against the exposed turnbuckle. We saw Anderson and his brother get involved in the match back at Fyter Fest a couple of weeks ago. These challenges are driving Cody to realize it's not worth it to be the hero, and it's a wonderful story that AEW is taking their time in telling, and I'm enjoying it. Hey, FDR had an incredibly decent match with the Lucha Brothers that ended in shenanigans. I was gonna say Scott Dawson, I'm sorry. The point is, Rey Fenix was exposed, took his mask off, and that led to FTR taking the victory. And the waters got muddied a little bit in who's feuding with who in this scenario. Because FTR, obviously, is in a collision course with the Young Bucks, and now they're also feuding with the tag team champions. And I don't know exactly what the mentality is. Like, is FTR gonna go for the tag team championship first, or are they gonna go for the Young Bucks first? It keeps you guessing, right? Because later in the night, when Kenny Omega came out for his match with the Elite, then Hangman was backstage watching the match, having a drink, and FTR joined Hangman in watching the match. So now you're kind of like wondering, where is this headed? Are we gonna see maybe a triple threat tag team match, Young Bucks, FTR, Hangman, and Kenny? Or is FTR gonna go for the tag team titles first and then go for the Young Bucks and have that big, huge match of like FTR, Young Bucks, tag team titles, the biggest of them all? I don't know where it's headed, and I'm excited to not know where it's headed because it keeps you guessing and it keeps you tuning in every week. Hey, Jericho declared himself the demo king. I can't say that I liked it. It worries me because, like, I understand that it's part of his character to be an arrogant, cocky heel that's gonna try to find a way to say that he's a draw no matter what. That makes sense. The whole demo king thing makes sense for him. I'm just worried that people at home are not gonna get him and are just gonna jump on Twitter and, like, drag him like, look at him, he didn't win the ratings and now he's complaining on TV. It's part of the character. It's not that deep. It's pro wrestling. Calm down. Good news. The Jericho Orange Cassidy feud continues. Orange Cassidy dumped a bunch of orange juice on Chris Jericho in the Inner Circle this week. And the entire segment was wonderful because, of course, Jericho is good. Cassidy can say a lot without saying a word. And then there's Ortiz, who literally drowned himself in the orange juice. The dude lost it. He is riding around the floor. He was thrashing on the ring. It was hilarious. It was a fantastic segment. I am glad that the feud between Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho is continuing, and I am glad that we're continuing this trend of like keeping Chris Jericho losing his mind, because they showed the replay of him like yelling and losing his mind, and then he joined commentary. He was like, "I'm covering juice. This is awful. My hands are sticky," and Orange Cassidy just continues to be like the most chill person ever. The Elite, Jurassic Express. What a wonderful match. That's all I have to say. I don't think there's anything I can tell you about this match. Marco Stunt died a couple of times because of course he did. But I think Marco Stunt actually had the best spot of the match with the assisted Canadian Destroyer off the top rope into the canvas from the outside. It was like, there's no way for me to describe that Canadian Destroyer and do it justice with words. You have to go see it. This was a fantastic match. And again, throughout the match, we saw FTR and Hangman Adam Page in the back, kind of like talking, watching the match, having a drink. And again, where is this headed? I'm crazy to find out where it's headed because it's exciting. After the match was over, Kenny Omega actually attacked Marco Stunt. And for a second, I was like, whoa, what? Are they finally actually doing the heel turn? And you know, the Young Bucks like reeled him back, and it dawned on me that AEW has two slow burn heel turns that they're working towards. That is Kenny Omega and Cody. And I think when they finally pull the trigger, and I hope that they do, they're slowly building to them, but I hope that they pull the trigger on both of these heel turns like with a month in between each, so that we can have time to digest both of them. Because the story, the slow burning story that they're telling of these two wrestlers being slowly corrupted, and it's not just on AEW Dynamite. I've been watching Being the Elite more frequently recently, and the Young Bucks made a reference of like, you know, they have this bit where Colt Cabana tries to like sneak up on Kenny and they stop him, and the Young Bucks tell Colt Cabana, you don't wanna reach him because he's turning into maybe this old personality that he has, the janitor, they say, you know, as a form of a joke. Obviously they were referencing the cleaner. And if AEW manages to like turn both Cody and turn Kenny into the cleaner, I think there's a lot of story to be told there, and it's gonna be fantastic. Vickie Guerrero. Vickie Guerrero came back on this week's episode of AEW Dynamite. She will be Nyla Rose's manager. This is a really good combination, in my opinion. I think, God willing, when we have fans back on the arenas, I don't know if it's going to be soon, but like, evidently when we do have fans back in the arena, I think Vickie Guerrero is going to be a great source of heat towards Nyla Rose. She is a good, like, annoying manager that can get the job done. She can cheat in the ring. She can put on a good promo, and Nyla gets to be the muscle. I think AEW is doing a wonderful job in identifying who the wrestlers who need managers are, and who the wrestlers who can express themselves are, and be like, you know what? If you're a wrestler that you just want to like kick people's ass and have somebody else do the talking for you, let's do it. Let's bring out somebody that can help you with that. It's working with Taz and Cage. It's gonna work with Nyla and Vicky. I'm excited to see where this is going. Hopefully, maybe a second reign with the Women's Championship for Nyla Rose. World Championship. The World Championship main event. I felt a lot of things watching the World Championship main event. The first one was that every single championship match that Mox has had, I have said the same thing, and I will continue to say the same thing. The referees just let them do whatever the hell they want. You can't spend 5 minutes on the outside, like running around ringside looking for like a random object to throw at your opponent. That's just not how it works. At the very least, you're gonna have the referee in the ring, and if you need to break the count, get in the ring, get outside the ring and break the count, do that. But when you have Excalibur once again on the mic say, it's the referee's discretion, we wouldn't want to see this match end in disqualification. Nobody wants to see a match end in disqualification or count out. Like, is every match just not gonna have rules just because the referee wouldn't like to see this match end in disqualification? That's just not how it works. If the referee doesn't want to see this match end in disqualification, then he should threaten the wrestlers to get back in the ring, or the match will end in disqualification. Enforce the rules, or either make it a no disqualification match. I said this at Double or Nothing. I said this at Revolution, and I'll say this again. It's becoming a trope that is happening way too often in Mox's championship matches, and it needs to stop. It's like, oh, here's a random chair that was randomly open in the middle of ringside, and it was used as a weapon, but it was in nobody's hands. Get out of here with that crap. Either do a no disqualification match or do a singles match. We know that both of these men are capable of doing a singles match, so get your shit together. Now, the ending of this match was an odd finish. I think there was a lot to unpack here. God, there were so many endings that you could have done with this match. Obviously, they didn't want to put the championship with Brian Cage. I get it. He's new in the company. He may not be as recognizable as Moxley. Wonderful. This match could have ended in a disqualification with Cage just rampaging through Moxley, hitting him with a chair, just absolutely destroying him. It could have ended in a double count out. It could have ended in a time limit. There were 100 million endings that you could have done with this match. Instead, Taz threw the towel. By the way, what is with the obsession of AEW having somebody throwing the towel in the middle of a match? This is the second time that it happens in a big fight. Enough. Like, here's my problem with it. Taz is a really good freaking manager. Taz is a really good addition to Brian Cage. But what it seems like now, it's as if Taz was a liability for Brian Cage, because Brian Cage never tapped out and Taz just decided to end the match out of his sheer convenience. Now that makes Taz as a manager look like a liability to Brian Cage. It makes it as if Taz had costed Brian Cage the World Championship. Again, there were like 5 or 6 different endings that you could have had. Say that you want to do the same ending that you did tonight with Darby Allin making the save, right? The most normal thing you could have done was for Brian Cage to say, hey, I'm already the FTW World Champion. I don't really care about the World Championship anymore. Give me a steel chair. F Mox, hit him across the head with a chair. Start beating him down, lights go down, Darby Allin returns, we're all happy, the show ends the way that you want it to end. But to have Taz throw in the towel and Mox retain the championship clean, the values Taz as a manager, the values Cage as a number 1 contender, and it values that FTW championship that you introduced last week as well. there have been a lot of problems with the championship defenses of Moxley since he won the championship. We cannot cover the sun with the hand. Something needs to be done to spike up this championship reign of Jon Moxley. And that's it for all of AEW Dynamite this week. Fight for the Fallen edition. If you like what we do here on the wrestling space, you can hit the like button below. Subscribe to the channel to enjoy more of our videos. And we'll be back here next Wednesday with more AEW. I'm Kerby Rodriguez. Please stay home and be safe. Good night, everybody.